Hi guys, so welcome to part 2 of the Crafty clipboard, altered clipboard and matching embellishments swap. I threw in the word matching because I want to impress upon you guys that the paper that you use, the paper pack you use, you should be using for your embellishment pieces too. So if there's anything available that I can link there in the description box for you guys, I will do that. Those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. So thanks for using those. And in the last video we did this, right? So we covered our clipboard. Again, the clipboard has to come from the Dollar Tree. It's the Jot clipboard that they have there. Covered it very simply. Again, I mean, it just looks so pretty and it feels so nice. We're going to do some decoration today. We're going to wrap it up basically because all we're doing is just finishing up with what is the shaker component and then the shaker mix and then just decorating this guy a little bit and even embellishing. So it might be a longer video than the other one, but the other one we talked a lot about the rules and all that kind of stuff. So make sure if you're interested that you are signing up. My email's in the description box. You're going to make 2 of these. I just started the next video because my kids are kind of busy doing something else. I'm like, oh, I'll just start the next thing. So I haven't finished my second one yet, but I will have that probably by the end of this video. You'll have seen that. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a shaker. Even if you don't have shaker dies, we're just going to make some generic shape things. And I have tons of shaker dies. Unfortunately, because I'm showing people how to do it without them, I'm probably not going to use them, right? So, you know, it's whatever. So I'll show you how to make some just with dies that you might have, like nesting dies, and how to use the Cricut for that. So I'll show you first how to use the Cricut for that kind of thing. You can skip over it. I'll put in here maybe the timestamp of how to skip over the Cricut stuff if you're not interested, because if you don't have a Cricut, it doesn't matter, right? And then we'll go into how to use a die to make a shaker. And yeah, just a little bit of decorating and, you know, whatever else that you would like. Again, keeping in mind we're keeping things relatively flat. You know, I might put like a little doily on this. I mean, I can use my Cricut to say, you know, whatever pattern paper or, you know, die cut embellishments or whatever. But however it is you want to decorate things, but keeping it, again, relatively flat because they got to go, 2 of these have to go into that flat rate padded envelope, and we don't want things to get damaged or take up too much space in the other person's swap and all that. So, again, I used the Into the Garden paper pack from Recollections, and it's just so pretty. I mean, everything in here is just gorgeous. There are some plain colors in here, which is actually going to be really great, possibly for my shakers. You know, it just depends on what I cut. But what else? I guess that's it. So let's get started. Right now, I'm going to cut to Cricut voiceover as I'm working through some things, and then when I come back here it will be to talk about how to make shakers out of nesting dies. Okay guys, well I don't want to take up too much of your time talking about design space because if you don't have a Cricut, you know, you probably want to skip over this stuff, but like I said, I'll show you also how to make some of these things using regular dies. So let's start a new project. I always say I leave it on Explore so it gives me all of my choices. Sometimes if you have it set to the joy, if that's all you have, well, I guess if that's all you have, that's all you have. But you can also say new project, leave it on Explore so you have all your options and then manipulate and do what you want so that it fits on the joy. And then just change it to joy when you go to cut, because a lot of times they just don't give you your options for whatever reason. So I want some shapes, and I'm thinking like, actually I don't want shapes. I want, sorry, images. Like, what can I include that complements, you know, my paper pack and all those kinds of things? And I was thinking like a bow is always a nice thing. Oh, and then I was thinking maybe a basket. Wouldn't that be fun? Like an Easter basket or some kind of basket, right? Just because we're going into like spring and stuff. So let's look for a bow first. And I always click on purchase. I'm not interested in giving Cricut any more of my money. So here we go. Let's look for a bow. And I don't mean a 3D bow. A lot of these are from Anna Griffin files that I've bought, you know, whenever she came out with them. So there's a lot of those kind of bows. So I'm just going to keep looking. I want something that I can make a shaker out of. I mean, this would be a very easy shape to make a shaker and kind of boring, so I'm not going to choose that, but that would be good. You know, oh, this is pretty. Because a lot of times you can take things apart and make, you know, your die cuts and your shakers out of portions of an image. Snow angel, I guess there's a bow there. Oh, this is kind of nice and generic. Hold on, that's not quite the bow I was looking for. This looks like probably from a Disney thing. I mean, there's so many cute things in here. A bow and arrow type bow. Okay, we don't need to sit here and... I'm kind of interested in this, just because it's such a generic shape. Let's add that one to canvas and start playing with that. And again, the size of your shaker, I mean, as long as it fits in your packaging, I guess it doesn't matter. So this one's 3.87 by 3.11. Let's make it maybe closer to 4 inches so it can mat on a A2 size card kind of nicely, right? Oh, that's kind of big actually. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Again, I'm just manipulating here, but you can also use your numbers up here to manipulate. So I'm going to copy this already because I always want to keep a regular one. What I'm trying to do with this one is show you how, see how it's like fancy and it has like little cuts. This is definitely the kind of thing where if you want to use 3D foam, it's going to be a nightmare, right? So what I think I'm going to do is we have that one. Let me get a shape. Maybe like this oval. I want something to fit in here. So I'm going to, up here, if I just start pulling on this like this, it's going to be in a way that is, what's the word? It just moves together, right? Proportional. And I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to unclick this and I'm just going to manipulate this in a way that to me fits in this area nicely, that we can make it into a shaker and not be super like weird. Remove that one, maybe a little more this way. What does that look like? That might be good. Actually, I think I like the way that fits. Okay. So a couple things. What do we want to do? Okay, I'm going to highlight, oh, nope. I'm going to highlight both of these guys and center them. So arrange, no, align. I'm going to center these. So now it's perfectly centered and it's already highlighted. So over here, I'm going to slice because what I want is for this to be a nice little frame just like that. Oh, I don't care. What is that thing doing? Nope, stop that. Let's go back to 0. Okay. This I can get rid of. I don't need it. And this I can get rid of. I don't need it. So these are essentially the basic things we need for a shaker. If you're looking at this, you have your background piece. This can also be your acetate piece. So what I'm going to do is copy that. Nope, not copy it. Hello, copy it. So I'm going to duplicate it. This is as easy as a shaker can be. I'm going to turn it white just so that we say, okay, this is the the acetate. The acetate has to go behind our frame, you know, for the front. And then also to build this up, I'm going to cut the frame a few times. So I'm going to duplicate this. And let's cut this out of, let's say this is just like a pink paper, which will be one of my other papers. That's the background piece. And then this guy, let's cut it from just a different color so that we can differentiate. I'll just pick a color that's weird. Okay. Now when you layer up something like this, you need at least a few die cut pieces to get the height that you need, right? To make like what you're replacing your 3D foam with. Now, honestly, if you have a maker or something like that, you can probably cut foam, just some foam, right, with your machine. And I can probably do it on the Explorer too, but I don't want to. So I'm just going to copy this a few times. And usually, to me, 3 or 4 layered up together like this gives you a good height. Because you have that, you're going to have this on top of the plastic and whatever space you have here. So maybe one more, just for good measure. Oh, not that one. One more of the purple one. So now, if I go to make it, let's say, these are all going to be on different paper. I am going to need 2 of each, 2 sets, right? Because I need one for each swap. So I know this is going to be my acetate. So when I load it, I'm going to choose and say it's acetate. And this is my background layer. So whatever I want in the back of my shaker. And this is the top of my shaker. And then these are all the pieces that I need to cut just to make the thickness of a shaker, right? So it's like we just layer them up one on top of the other. So I do like that. I'm going to cancel that because I'm not going to cut right now. I'm going to save and altered clipboard shakers. And I don't want to put in a collection. I guess I could just like swap collection or something, but I just say cancel and I say save again. And that is one type of shaker. Okay. I was thinking about making another one where you do an outline. Okay, so it's a little bit different. So let me go and look around and see what image I would like. Again, I'm just going to click on images and I'm going to look for something. Yeah, it might still be a bow, but I did want to make a basket. Isn't that what I said? Let's see. So I'm going to see what I have as far as baskets, not 3D. That's actually really cool. Just something basic like this, to be honest. I would like a wider handle though, so I'm gonna look and see what basket I might have that would work. So as far as my ownership of baskets, I kind of like this one too. So unfortunately, it's basically gonna be this one. I like the shape of it, even though I wanted the handle to be thicker, but that's okay. So I'll just use this guy, and hopefully that chicken's not attached. Let's see. It might be part of it, you know. Yeah. Oh, good. Perfect. Okay. So see, if I look at this over here. This is its own thing. See, we can just delete that. And we can delete, you know, whenever you highlight over here, you're just basically selecting that. I'm going to select those pieces and that's it. So now I have this little basket left. Actually, I want to get rid of these little, that too. That's weird. Okay. So that's my little basket. It has a little funky shape, right? As you can see, it's kind of supposed to be a little bit wonky. Okay, so it's 2 inches wide. That's kind of small, isn't it? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, almost 4 inches tall. Let's say we make something like this. Okay. And okay, this is going to take some thinking. So, only because this one's funky. All right. If we make an outline, I was trying to show you what I was planning on doing, and I've done it before in other videos, is how you make like what's it called? An outline, and then that helps you make a shaker. But honestly, I think this one, I want to make a shaker like in this area. So I'm going to duplicate this. I am going to keep that over here. Bring this over here. I'm going to get a shape. And I like to do this whenever I just want to cut something away from the rest of the thing. I'm going to move all these things over. Oh goodness, come on. What I'm going to do is take this and make it bigger and just place it on here. Now let's get this guy over here. I'm going to place it on here to basically get rid of those handles. And if that looks good to me, it needs to go down just a little bit. I'll use my arrow keys. That looks good. Okay, I'm going to highlight these things. Nope, not that one. Just these two. Okay, and I'm going to slice. And I know some people, you can highlight and say subtract and all these other things. So now I got rid of all that. All I have left is this piece that looks like that, right? I'm going to change the color of it just so that it's very different. Okay. So basically this will lay right on top of that. Now, I do need to keep this. So I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to turn it white because that will be my acetate part. Trust me, guys. Okay, now this guy... Actually, I'm going to change the color on that because I know when it does a offset, the offset's black. Okay, so I have this one selected, and I'm going to do an offset. But I'm going to do the offset that's smaller than this thing. So I'm going to bring it to the other way, and maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more. Now, I could leave it like this because that makes it very easy for dimensional adhesive. But I'm just going to make it a little bit skinnier. Okay. And I'm going to apply. And now that gave me this little offset, right? So what I want to do now is just highlight these two and slice them again. And now I have a little frame that I can get rid of this, and we have this. So let's imagine we have this on top of that guy because that's our acetate. And then this piece will be on top of that, which makes our little basket. Is that not adorable? I think that is very cute. So again, I can probably put adhesive behind this, but since this is for this swap, I'm not going to do the adhesive thing. I'm going to copy this a few times. So that can be our topper piece. And then I need to duplicate it for the pieces that are going to give me my thickness, right? So let's just change the color of that. Now, what's interesting is the thickness pieces, I'll probably just make them out of white paper. So I'm going to make them the same color as these purple ones because that way I can do them all on one thing and that's just my frames. But I'll probably cut them out of white paper. 2, 3, 4. So now I have those thickness pieces. I have this. I have my acetate piece. And again, what's cool is that the acetate piece is white, so it'll cut when this acetate cuts. Sorry, this one over here. This one. So now I have a couple kind of fun shapes that I think are useful for everybody, and that'll be great. So again, just send them to cut, and you know, I have my basket pieces, I have whatever else you want. If you know, I'll probably cut out my basket out of brown paper because it's a basket, but if you wanted to use this same piece to do like a background color from your paper pack, you can definitely do that. Again, just coordinating back. So I think I will also cut a piece that just sticks back here. So it'll have a brown handle, but then I'll have a piece of pattern paper that goes here. Again, back to our paper pack, right? Because it all needs to coordinate. Okay, well, that is 2 shakers. I will shaker bases, you know. I'll go ahead and cut these things out so we have them ready to go. And I'll show you how to make possibly a shaker with dies that you have. So, you know, as we discussed there, for shakers, you definitely need an acetate piece. We need the pieces that are going to make it thick, right? So you have somewhere to put your mix in. And then the background piece, because we need to hold it together. A lot of times I don't use a background piece. I just stick it to my card or whatever. But for this situation, we're going to make a background piece. And the little topper frame, right, that looks nice. So you're covering up the inside part. Now, I have, you know, different dies that maybe would work, you know, to make a shaker like this thing, and then we can use a circle, but that's a Halloween one. So, you know, look at your dies in a different way. Like, oh, hold on. Doily dies. This might work, but it has a bunch of those little holes right there. Just literally, oh, maybe this one's better. Let's think. And then acetate. I'm just thinking about how we're going to cut the acetate, and of course it's going to have all these same holes unless I use just a clear piece. This might not be the best option, but just look at your dies and think about, like, what, you know, what can I do different with these that'll look lovely. I was just going to show you how to use like more of a basic shape. Oh, an oval. I didn't think of ovals. I usually go with circles. You know, maybe we'll do some ovals. And again, I told you guys the other day, I'm like, oh, I got to put my stuff away before I lose it. It was just kind of shove it in there. Yeah, the circles are somewhere else. I should put my circles and ovals together. What is going on? What am I doing? Okay, you know what? Let's do an oval shape, because I don't normally do that, and that's fun. Okay, so we need something like this. See how these two nest together pretty well? And that leaves you a very thin area, but that's okay, because we're not going to use dimensional foam for this, or dimensional adhesive. Now, I could show you how to cut this out of foam. Oh yeah, let's do that, because that'll be a little bit different from the other things I'm doing. But foam is thicker. Obviously, we need the thickness, so that's fine. So yeah, we can do that today for this one, just to show you some different options of getting that thickness that you need for a shaker. So I think this is all I'll need. And I already chose this little mushroom because I love the mushroom pattern, and I think as my background paper. So for our very base, we definitely need this. So I'm going to cut 2 of them because I have 2 shakers to make, right, for each, one for each swap, should I say. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through. That's the simple part. I'm also going to run this through some acetate. Now, do I have some here to show you? Obviously, acetate is acetate. This is not the biggest piece, but whatever it is that your die cut machine needs, and the Cricut cuts acetate so nicely, I'll tell you. I have not had issues with that. But if you have a machine that has a metal shim, even like the Marquee, I would recommend cutting into the metal shim because it'll push in really, really nice instead of just the pressure being what gives you the die cut, you know, the cutting power. Put the die acetate, then your metal shim, you know, facing down there. Cut into it. It's not going to hurt it. I mean, look at this. And that'll give you a nice crisp cut. So when I come back, I'll have 2 acetate and 2 of just this background piece, okay? And I'll be right back. Like butter, look at that. Love it. Okay. I'll be right back. Through here, and I guess I can use the blue paper that's in this pack to do the topper piece, the little frame. Why not? So this is going to be very important. What I'm doing here is I'm going to put these guys together, and these dies are really close in size, right? So what I'm going to do is really make sure this is taped down. We do not want this to move at all between this and then the next thing, because what we want it to be exactly the same. So obviously we don't want the dies to overlap each other, because then it can mess up your machine. But we also don't want them to move much, because I want it to be the same frame, basically, essentially, from here to the next piece. That way it lines up and it makes a nice shaker. So these are all the kinds of things I want you guys to pay attention to make a nice thing, you know. So we're gonna run this guy through, and then I'm gonna remove that, and we'll see how much one layer of foam will do for us. See if one layer of foam works out. Okay. So we just created this little frame that's gonna help us frame that out. And this middle piece, I mean, I can take it away right now, or I can just leave it. To be honest, if we leave it, it might help out. Let me see. I'm gonna grab a piece of foam. I only have insane colors of foam, which is kind of fun. I used to have white, but I think I used it up. So I'm gonna cut this piece. I actually like the way the black looks. I think that might look really cool. So again, you don't want that frame to undo because you want it to stay the same. And I don't know that I need more than one layer of foam. Let's see. Hopefully that cut all the way through. It sure did. You can see on the back that it's completely cut. And I have this piece and this piece. So essentially when you make a shaker, you're going to glue this to this, right? And then, sorry, however it lines up, I don't know. And then this one to this, and that gives you your space that you need. And I think that's actually pretty good. If you want to include two pieces of foam, you just want to get some height, right? So it depends on your foam and how it looks, how much you actually need. Okay, I like that black. Okay, so I'm going to finish cutting my pieces for the second one, and I'll be right back. So I have my second one done. Again, one for each swap. And, you know, it'd be nice if you can do different things, different shapes, different pieces, but the way I would put this away is actually like this, and then put the foam behind or in front so that these guys stay nice and flat, you know what I'm saying? So maybe I put that in the front. So when I package it, now, the other thing is, do you want to put them all in one bag? Do you want to layer them up? You know, like cascade them? It's up to you. So I need to finish actually cutting my Cricut stuff. I designed it, but I haven't really cut everything. Full disclosure. But where is my... So like I said, you know, do you want to cascade them so it's one after the other, or just put them all in one bag and, you know, stick it up here? However it is that works for you, but we'll talk about that once everything's cut, okay? But I'll be back. Okay, guys, while I'm cutting, I want to show you, I was going to do my background pieces the same, but when I came to cut them, I thought, I don't really want to do that. So all you do is, if you have something that's set to the same color, let me just click done. It came here, and then you say, okay, this is the one I'm going to be working on. I'll say edit, and they were all in the same plane here, but now I want to switch it up to make that quilt I talked to you guys about. So I just move these two. You just grab them, and they let you edit things, you know. So just grab them and you move them, and I put them right under the 4-inch line, and then these guys are, you know, up at the top corner. And so when I go to my paper here, these are the same weight because they're from the same paper pad, right? We're using the same paper pad for all our embellishments and things. Unless you need like a random color here or there that you don't have in the paper pad, I understand that. So in this top strip, I'm putting in what's going to be the background for that kind of bracket like frame looking shaker, and then down here I'm putting the little basket piece, and that's how I do it. And then I run it through and it cuts all at the same time. So if you ever have that where you're purposefully making everything the same color so you can do a quilt, or if, you know, as you go to cut you're like, oh, I don't know if I really want those the same, you can separate them out on just by editing there, and then you just say done. You guys know that even if you have paper that doesn't quite fit, because you know how Cricut, they want you to choose the paper size, you can come in here, and even if it didn't fit, let's say I had this little piece of paper, I can turn it to make it, manipulate it to where I want it, you know, for it to work. So all that, and then just click done, and then you'll go to cut. So I'm going to go to cut. So while that's still cutting, the very last parts of my shaker, it's like the riser parts, right, the parts that make it thick, so you can put your shaker mix in there. I'm going to cut some papers down. I just put them to the side, and I needed them. Where did I put them? Okay. I just took some of the offcuts, and I'm gonna make like little bag toppers. Very basic. I mean, you can design those. You can, obviously, if you have guys do bag toppers, whatever you do to kind of dress up like your bags or those kind of things, no paper clips, okay? I put in the rules. I just went and updated them. Like, yeah, because if I say paper clips or like, that's because someone's going to put wooden clips, someone's going to put binder clips, someone's going to put like a huge chunky paper clips. No paper clips. And it's in red, written in the guidelines, okay? No clips, no clothespins, no binder clips. Again, I don't want things rubbing the other things, damaging the paper, damaging the background of what you did, you know, that kind of stuff happens, you know, in transit. So I did find some smaller bags, which is probably what I'll put my shakers in then, and they all fit in these little guys. Just some stuff I had in my stash, so as you can see, they all would fit. So I'm going to do 3 separate bags, but for those, I'm just going to top them off with a little bit of this. And they're kind of high, so I don't, you know, want to take up too much of the bag, and I think I might even just stick them all together. I'm not sure on that part yet. I guess I should know before I do this. But anyway, this will be different for everybody. My bag's about 3.5 inches wide. So I'm going to cut this paper down to about 3.5 inches wide, and maybe whatever splitting the difference of this is, we'll just do that. What is this? 5 inches? So 2.5. So this side's crooked. So what I'm going to do is cut that piece off at 3.5 inches or so, and then 2.5, because that's about half of this paper, right? And I'm just going to score them down the middle, which would be, I guess, 1.25. And then I'm going to punch one of them, or you know what, maybe I'll use some, let's make this a little bit even more old school. I like it to look nice, but we'll just be careful. So 1.5, right? And that's gonna go on top. And I'll do the same thing for one of the other bags, and the other one I'm going to do a doily just to look really cute. So we can do that, and then let's take some scissors. Okay, I have the scallop scissors, but you know what, this one came up first. And I always forget which one to do. If you look at your scissors and you go to do it and you want your scallop a certain way, you know, you should pay attention to that. But anyway, I'm going to start this right at the end and just go along the very edge and try to do it straight. Oh, I found a little spot it doesn't like. So what I do is I'll meet back up at that spot with that same shape and do a little more. You kind of, what I'm doing is lining it up like I would if I was using a punch. So I find where the next scallop is. Oh, that one was not good. And cut that off. Could have worked a little better, but that's it. So that's going to be my little topper. I get them all together, and it'll have this on top. Okay? And I don't mind that the back is, you know, not the same. If you want to cut the back, go ahead and go for it. Or score it so that you know you're going to cut off like 1/8 of an inch. However, but that's what I'm going to do. And so I'll do it again for this one, and then for the other, probably for the 5x7 bags, or no, maybe for the 3D die cuts. Either way, I'll measure that bag and then do basically the same thing. It's just a ton of these guys. Again, these are the ones we're going to layer up so that the person can make a shaker instead of using foam adhesive. So anyway, I'm going to get these off of here and I'll be back. A few more cuts on that, but I'm just going to start bagging these guys up. So again, acetate piece, background piece, risers. I'm calling risers. I don't know what else to call them. And I did cut 4, which is probably overdoing it, but maybe the person can use these for something else. Right? They're pretty. So 4 of those. And I do put these on top because I don't want them to squish anything else. And then this is the piece that tops it, the frame. See? So I'll take those guys and bag them up. And same thing with my little basket. Background piece. The topper, this piece. Where's my background? Background, where are you? Well, anyway, there's a background piece. Oh, it's just the blue one. That's right, I went kind of plain with that one. Acetate, those guys, and then the little riser pieces. So, I'll be back. Guys, so, I have my 3 bags all separate. If you want to put them together, you know, however you package them, that's up to you. They need to clip up here, though, so, I was wondering if I should just staple these and then put that on top, because nothing's going to slide out. They're nice big shakers. So, let me see here. Let's see if this has any staples in it. And they're going to be stacked on top of each other, so that does, you know, make some thickness, but not ridiculous. Or you can kind of do this kind of thing where one shows the next one and the next one. I feel like they might get bent though that way too. So whatever it is that you think is best for your particular swap is what I would do. I'm just going to staple these, and then we're going to put this on top. And I'm just going to tape that. Now I can staple that too, I suppose, if you want a rustic look or whatever it is you're looking for. I'm going to put a little tape. And I'll do the same thing for the second one. So I'm kind of packaging at this point too a little bit. Again, there we go. I'll do the same, like I said, for the second one, and I will be right back. And then I don't really have to do the decorating right now, but I think I'm just done with my pouches, and then we need to make our shaker mix and all that, so that will be next and next. And for me, that's that. Those are my little guys, and then they'll just clip on here, you know, somewhere in there. Okay, I'll do the same thing for the second one. For one of my other ones, like this one, anyway, it's just a paper that I just cut. It's not like the most extravagant thing. I think if you're using a bag top or something where you take more time to put it together, you can definitely just turn this upside down so that the person can open this without ripping up the top of the bag topper. So what I'm going to do is just kind of shrink these things down to show you what I mean. And then this guy, all I did with this one, same thing, but I used a Martha Stewart punch. And I gave myself a little more in the front than in the back. So this is 3 inches wide, and I scored it at 1 1/4, and then I punched this side. And just pop it on there. Okay, and that way the person can open at the bottom and not have to damage the pretty bag topper. And I am going to try and flatten this out. This bag is being very naughty. It's very puffy. But if you take a bone folder and flatten it out, you'll get it flatter, okay? So again, with this one, just like I did before, I'm going to put some liner tape. Again, if you want to staple, I just feel like the staple might rub into this paper, you know what I'm saying, where it was stapled, and then it's going to damage your clipboard. So again, everything's about not damaging the stuff you're sending in, because you want it to show up and look pristine and cute and work, right? I'm sure people will ask too if they can make something out of felt for their die cuts, because that's really cute, which would be outside the paper pad. But like I said, if you have to include accent colors for some of these things, like everything I did was for my paper pack, because it did have like plain colors, you know, like the blue, except for this beige handle. I just got that from my own stash. Actually, there's beige paper in the paper pack. Now that I think about it, I could have just used that. But sure, it's just felt gets thicker and thicker, but I know people will ask because, you know, they want to be extra and do a little extra, and no extras. Having said that, it's in the rules too. I know it'd be like, oh, well, this is very flat. Like mine, you know, it's a 3 complete sets. It is very flat, and that's what we're looking for, guys. So don't include 4 sets of things or 5 sets or 10 sets. It's like, no, 3 sets, only 3 sets of shaker, 3 sets and 3 sets of whatever it is that you are including for your 3D die cut pieces, because I know some people will have 3D die cut pieces where it has a ton of pieces. If you want to include those in their own bag inside the bag, that's fine. However, you need to separate those out so that they don't get all messed up. That'd be great. Okay, so there's that one, a little decoration on it. And then this guy, I'm just going to put a doily. And I already have my paper in there a certain way. It's not the biggest deal, so I'm just going to stick the doily down. I was just showing you if you want to put it in a way that doesn't get damaged, you know, whatever. And this is normally where I would put like a clippy or something, but we're not doing that. We're keeping everything flat. So I am just going to stick it down again, same way with some double-sided tape, okay? And I'll be right back. Tuck that back in. It looks cute already. And again, it didn't add super bulk, right? And then, you know, however far or whatever it is you want to stage this part, it's probably going to move in transport, but so just keep that in mind. So we have these guys, this stuff, and again, starting to layer up, you're getting some thickness, right? So that's what we're trying to keep to a minimal. And if you want to spread these out a little bit, whatever, they have to clip on here. I'm going to put my glitter, my shaker mix in this little bag. It is kind of garish for this swap, and what I was thinking is I can cut a piece of paper and actually pop it in there. But I'm going to use so much glitter mix, it usually fills it up, you won't even see that background. But if you want to take like a measurement, the same link has like pink ones and teal ones and all these different colors. Okay, it doesn't have to be this holographic one. That's just what I have. So it's 2.5. I would probably cut a piece of paper like 2 3/8 by, yeah, almost 3 inches tall. So I would say like 2 3/8 by you know, maybe 2 5/8, and I would stick that little piece of paper in there and then add in my glitter mix so that it looks cute, right? It's like more of the paper that matches, but I don't think that doesn't match. It looks really pretty, right? So let me grab some things from my shaker mix and we'll do that, and then we'll finish up by decorating our clipboard, the last few embellishments. So I just grabbed some really pretty colors, like that coordinate with, you know, the paper pack, what's going on there. I was kind of a little blue or teal color or minty color, but I couldn't really find any spangles or glitters that I had that like that. But let's start with some gold. And again, use your best supplies, guys. You know, some of these are from Michael's. I know some might come from the Dollar Tree, but it's best if it's not just a Dollar Tree mix, because you guys know they only have like sequins there and maybe some like plastic beads or something. I don't know. So that's some coral sequins. Those other ones, amber gold type. I actually need to bring in something else too, because I didn't want it to just be different colors. The sequins, like I've mentioned in the past many times, I was just torn. I'm like, I don't know. Let me give that a mix and see what that's looking like. Where is, yeah. I was like, where's my little shovel? Looking for this guy. See, I would just stop there because honestly that looks really elegant and pretty. But I'm gonna add some little flowers. All of them. And maybe some of these white, kind of off-white sequins. It's raining. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It rained so loud last night. It was really annoying, actually. I don't stay up till midnight, so that's not my thing anyway. It was just like, woke me up like at 2 in the morning and kept me awake. Let me grab at least one more type of spangle. I'll be right back. So I have this little jar from Michael's. Interesting enough, every single jar they had some exploded inside, so it was like, if you want it, you're gonna get one that has some explosion going. Okay, let me wipe this off though, because I don't want any red and green glitter going in there. And these are just hexagons. So I'll round it out with a nice reflection and doesn't add a lot of color, so it's still that coral, pinky, pretty mix, you know. And a little bit of blue, right? Because the reflection, which is what I wanted. Yay, that worked out perfect. Okay, so I said at least 2 tablespoons in each packet. Let's open this guy up. This little shovel does about 2 tablespoons, you know, but I'm just gonna finish it off whatever's in here. So I get 2 in there. Let's say 2.5. So that's already more than 2 tablespoons. But like I said, if you want to slide a piece of paper in there because you feel like, oh, you want to cover up the hollow, you can definitely do that. It's another way of doctoring up your stuff there. And oh, I didn't think about topping this with something. We might do that. So 1, 2, get a little extra. Oh, okay. I'm gonna put more in this one and just finish it off, okay? So I'll be back. Just squish all the air out before I seal it, and honestly I've never seen these blow out, so we'll see. I mean, good luck, but I think it'll be okay. It's never been an issue. Okay, let me clean up and we'll move on. I'm like, and make them the same, you know, this and this. So I did do the dots, and I swear I went to my couch to work on the second one, which you think is weird, but it worked out. And I was like, oh yeah, it's this paper that I used. I chose the wrong paper. Look at the background. I was like, in my mind, it was that paper, and, you know, anyway, it doesn't matter. But funny enough, we do have this little guy, and like I said, I haven't decorated yet. The pieces that we cut off, you know, so that our papers would slide in there, to me, might be great just to add on top like this. So what I'm going to do is just trim this down. I'll measure, you know, it's almost 3 inches wide, and then just about as deep as it is, and I'll be right back. I'm just gonna stick this piece down with some double-sided tape, and I guess they could match. I don't know if I think I'll mix and match them. This one can go here and this one can go there. That's too funny, but you know, it works. It was just like, oh yeah, it's that one. Like in my head, I knew it was like the back of my hand. It was that one, and then it ended up being different paper, but that's okay. So I'm just going to glue this on, take the strip off, and just literally stick it on the front like this. Okay? Okay guys, so we have 2 clipboards basically with all the requirements done other than the extra embellishments, right? So 3 pieces of 5x7, not die cut, 5x7 pieces of paper, right? I mean, if you have a die that does 5x7 piece of paper, that's fine. But what I'm saying is don't make it like decorative die cuts. And here we have the 3 complete sets for a 3D item. Here we have our 3 shaker sets complete with what's going to make them thick for the shaker, your acetate, and everything. I really hesitate to say go ahead and put foam if you have foam, guys, unless you're using like craft foam, like the kids' fun foam, and that's fine, like I did on this last one, because what happens is it might get sticky and just be a mess. So I prefer if you guys cut the risers for this one. That's just how it's going to be, right? So the 3 or 4 shapes, right, to make it that thickness that you need, plus the frame on the outside, which I've walked through. I hope that's not an issue. And there we go. And then our shaker mix, at least 2 tablespoons with at least 3 different spangles. I did use several different sequins, but I included the flowers and the hexagon shapes. So sequins, flowers, and hexagons. Those are 3 different things. A couple of repeats of the different, shape in different colors. So that's that, and that's on both of them. And then again with a little decoration, no clips, no staples really, things like that can end up damaging whatever might be behind or on top, So, and then the shakers and the mixes are going to be attached to the top. They have to be that way, guys, so that way I know what you're doing, because this could easily be like, oh, the 3D thing, whatever. But either way, the shakers and the mix are going to be up on top, and down in here, because these are thinner pieces, are going to be the 3D die cut pieces and the pieces of paper, okay? And now we're going to decorate. So let me see. I'm probably going to put the little lacy thing. I was thinking about doing a wax seal, so maybe I'll do that. And it's 3 or, at least 3 things. I did put in the guidelines that the numbers I'm giving you are the maximum numbers. So like 3 shakers, don't include 5, 3 complete sets of die cut, 3 die cuts, don't include, more than that. So with that, yes. With the embellishment, as long as it's nice and flat, at least 3 things. I'm not going to be like, oh, they put 5 things on here. I would never say it that way anyway, but just, keep it in moderation. That's the only thing that scares me about opening it up. I know people, they'll take it and they run, and then it's just, it's a lot for me to go through. It doesn't fit in the packaging, like all these different issues, So even right now, we're already pushing it, right? So I'm just going to keep it very thin, low profile. And I'm probably only going to really decorate the bottom part, because if someone does want to use it where they can actually write on the clipboard, I don't really want to impede anything up here. But honestly, if you want to put like a little, maybe a doily you're going to add here, or, a die cut, that you think is pretty, or whatever decoration you want to put in the back, some, what's this stuff called? Ephemera, it's up to you. But again, don't hurt your swap because you added something back here, That's basically what I want to impress upon you guys. So I will be right back. Crazy, I'll do a video and then I notice I was standing up the whole time. Because I'm busy, I'm working, guys. I stand up. I have a Husky table from Home Depot that I just love. You can roll it up and down, which I always keep it kind of like waist high, and I sit at a pub chair, like pub height stool. So anyway, so I can stand up and work or sit down, and it's great. Okay, I'm gonna move these things off of here just for now, and we can see, it's pretty. Just decorate with our paper. We're gonna add a little something more. And it's how, a lot of times less is more, you guys know that, that's my philosophy, but, so I was checking this out, look how cute this is, or even this pink one, but, I think I'm gonna go with the tassels, why not? Even I brought this one out too with the little, it's cute, little white dots. But I'll use this one, I think, and it is like perfectly, I want to see how I can get it side to side, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and cut it off right now, just so I'm done. But yeah, from one to the other, right there. A little scary because it does undo a little bit like this one did, but I'll stick that down with the hot glue, I hope. So I'll do the same thing with both of these guys, and then I'll add like a wax seal with some die cuts possibly. Okay, so if you want to protect this in the back, go for it. I'm just going to go a little bit at a time and just... I like how I'm assuming that this is hot. I have no idea. I'm like right on the edge. And just pop it right there. Right there. Okay. And I'll just keep going. Hopefully straight. Across here. Okay. No, it's a little too much glue. Keeping that right there. Okay, and I'll do the same thing for the second one. So leading through some of my like spellbinders, wax seal kind of things, and I mean, look how cute this is. The only thing I would love for it to be over here, but it's going to be on this side. I guess it could be on this side, it'd just be the flip, but I don't like the way that looks when you die cut and then flip it. It just depends on the die if it looks good or not. I know some people say go around the edge with like a silicone thing, but this is very delicate, so I'm not going to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is cut this out in like gold paper, and then we have some little birds, and I was thinking about cutting them out in black, but that might be too, like, I don't know. We'll see what I end up cutting these guys out, but I'll cut out 2 of these out of some gold paper, and I'll be right back. Look how gorgeous that is. Yeah, I almost feel like black wouldn't hurt anything if we did in black. And then I'll put my little wax seal like in here. I don't know if I should go right in the middle, though. I feel like it should come out from over here. We'll see about that, but oh man, we'll see. Okay, I'll be back. I picked out some really pretty pink wax beads, the peachy pink, and then look at this seal. That is so cute. It's very Happy Mail looking to me, so we'll do that. I have the kit there, and ooh, I don't want to misplace. So I went with white birds just to keep it, even though the black I think would look very dramatic and really lovely. And I'm gonna go with that. Where did I put the other? I was like, where did I put the other sprig? It's still attached here. Okay, so let's get our little birds on, and I think I'm gonna drop shadow them in a way so when I add them, you know, let me play with this lighting really quickly. Sorry, I don't know. It changes from morning to, you know, noon to night. I just kind of dimmed it a little bit because it was too blue. But anyway, I'm gonna pop these guys on here and just like leaving a little bit of the gold sticking out behind him, although he can sit right on there and it's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? You can just pop it on, but I do like that little bit of gold sticking out from behind. Why not? And kind of playing around with this. I think maybe I'll have it go like this, so the little birds are kind of on the branch this way. So this is going to be a to-do here, because we're gonna get stuff all over, get stuff all over, glue all over the back of these things. I really don't want this to move at all, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'll probably still also put glue on the back of my hand to really make sure that stays down. And this is just what I prefer doing. If you have one of those like Xyron roll through kind of things, that'd be great. I just like to do this. Oh, no, no, no. Good thing that's art glitter, so you won't see it anyway. Didn't really touch anything. But we're gonna pat, 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 and then make sure I got this little part. This part is gonna be held down by the wax seal anyway, but so if I do the wax seal like in here, these little guys can be like to here. Okay, and I'll go ahead and do the same thing for the second one. I'll be right back. So I have it on both of them. Super pretty. Again, guys, you know, relatively flat doesn't mean not decorative. It's just different, right? Okay, so we're gonna have these guys, and I'm just gonna warm this up. Basically, I pulled this out just so I would have the little candle burner thing. So let's open this up. Ooh, you can mix gold and pink. That's pretty too. I want my little cup. This came with gold stuff. Where is my little candle? I see this little candle every day sitting next to me, and of course when I need it, I have to search for it. I'll be right back. So yeah, it was next to me. Just that now that I've been doing all this stuff, I have things everywhere, so it's, of course I do. Watch, don't burn yourself. Put that there, put this here. There's already some gold in there from before, which doesn't bother me, so that's fine. But if it does, just let it warm up and then wipe it out with a napkin. And I'm gonna do 3 because I know 3 will work and not be overkill. If you do 2, sometimes it works, but maybe it's not enough, so I'll do 3. And we're just gonna let those melt in there. Put this to the side. It's gonna take a few seconds. Maybe a minute or so, should I say, really. And I am using a candle that has a smell good, so that's always nice. Oh, let's use this little cutie. So I hope you guys have fun with this. I mean, again, just don't do the extra stuff that, you know, stick to the 3 shaker sets, the 2 tablespoons of your mix made with 3 or more different types of spangles and glitters and things, 3 sets of die cuts that will create a 3D embellishment. Again, you know, rolled flowers. I know with those it's just 1 strip normally, but you know, just use some really, you know, their prettiest patterns, I suppose, from your paper. What else? Bag toppers, you know, all these different things that people like to make. Layered flowers, I would love to see that, because you can just cut, you know, however many layers of whatever flower that you think is pretty, dye, and then the person puts it together. You know, Spellbinders, all those cinch and go flowers. I mean, there's lots of Heartfelt Creations flowers. Oh my gosh, would be lovely. And like I said, I pretty much cut things from the paper pack. But if you need to include an accent color, you can definitely do that. Just this right here, all it needs to be from your paper pack, okay? And it needs to be patterned paper. We're almost there. And then I'll do the same thing for the other one. I'm just trying to think, where am I putting this? Like here? Sure. Also, this is upright, like this. I don't really care. I think it would look cute a little sideways too, so that's fine. As long as it's not upside down, right? That's all I'm really keeping an eye out for. I was gonna say, I'll be right back, but you know what? I spoke for a whole minute or so, I'm sure. Okay. That looks pretty melted, so I'm just gonna take it and I'm just gonna go for it. Again, there's some gold in there that looks actually really lovely. I'm gonna put that right there, and I'm just gonna hold on to this for a minute, because if I put it back on here, it'll start bubbling really bad. And we're just gonna pop this right down on here. Okay, I'm gonna wait like 30 seconds or so. In the meantime, I'll get this one, the next one going. Boop, I'll be back. And I wouldn't touch it unless you waited at least 30 seconds or more. It's kind of cold today, so there it is. And this guy's almost melted down, and look how cute. So pretty. I guess it's really what I'm looking for, pretty. Okay, and then I can pop these guys back in. Oh, one last thing too before, obviously we're gonna decorate our little clippy, but I want to also just put my label on the back of this. I mean, you can put it on one of the items on the inside. Again, if you want to include information, I actually I updated the thing to say maybe you want to include information what paper pack you used. That would be nice to know, brand name and the name of the paper pack. So people, because especially in this one, right? Usually we're like, oh, what paper is that? With this one, we want to know. So you can include that info. Again, just on a very like business size card, or maybe clip it at the very top so that that's the first thing we see. So maybe we'll do that. But let me finish up my second one and I'll be right back. Actually, I'm sure you guys would love to see that, so let's just take our goodies. Oh my gosh, you guys, these are so pretty. Okay. I'm gonna put this one a little bit further down, see if I can leave a little bit of that stem towards the back. I'm done with that, so we can turn that off. And then I'm just making sure this is up a little bit. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so let's just take that off. Nice and hot. Put that back away. Oopsie. So pretty. We'll tuck everything back in. I think today what I'm going to do is like a ribbon tassel, because what I think is if the person wants to take it apart, they can just use the ribbon too. So that's a little bit of a cheat, right? A little way to add a little extra something that's what we required, but the person can still take apart. So let me put this back in here. Oh my gosh, you guys, I think this looks so pretty. Okay, and then this one up here, this guy here, and I'm gonna grab some fibers and I'm gonna attach them here. Again, we can still do something else. I did update the guidelines just so it's more clear for you guys. You can include up to 2 different embellishments on this, because I know you can click something here or add something here. You can also add something up here. Don't make it so that it gets broken, whatever you add up here, if you are going to take advantage of sticking something here, or just stick it there and not here. Whatever it is that you're doing, only 2 different things, okay? So if you're adding like ribbon fibers here, and then maybe a dangle here, or a tassel here, or a bow here, whatever it is you're going to do, just no more than 2 things to decorate the clip itself, okay? So let me grab some fibers, and I think we're almost done. These are beautiful fibers I was actually gifted, but they're from Michael's, I'm pretty sure. What I'm going to do is they're already like a yard long. So I'm just going to kind of meet them up at the bottom here. I'm also adding some of this cute trim that I have. So I'll add one of these guys too. Do it all at the same time. And this is very long and very much for this. So what I'm doing is I'm going to cut it in half, but I just want to get it ready for that. Okay, so I'm just going to take about midway on this guy. And I'm just going to cut it. Okay, so that made 2 ribbon tassels, and it's up to you. Do you want to just go ahead and make like a little bow knot kind of thing, or do you want to add it here first? What I'm going to do, I think, is, and obviously your stuff doesn't have to be there in the meantime, your little items that you're including for your swap, but I'm just going to put it under here, holding on to there, and then let me move these guys out of the way actually. Take some seam binding, so again, just to make it look cute, I'm going to take some seam binding, and I don't know, however much, that's probably too much. And I'm going to wrap it underneath to hold it on there. Right? And then making sure everybody's pretty good there. Yes, I still have glue on the back of my hand from those little birds. Something like that. So I'm going to even that out though, because there's more seam binding over here than on the other side. I guess I was paying attention to the ribbon itself and not this part. Okay, let's do that again. That looks better. And it's still, and just a bow. And since this is seam binding, I cannot burn the bottom pieces so that it doesn't unravel, because it'll just catch fire. So let's not do that. I'm going to bring this up a little more too. Alright, and let's add these guys back. Again, I just did the one thing. I probably will add something else by the time I actually go to swap, when we do the reveals. But I just want to show you kind of what's required, what I'm thinking of here. Move this in as tightly as you can so it doesn't come away in being mailed. So I'm going to do the same thing for the second one, and that is basically one completed Happy Mail clipboard. Not super thick. Look at this, you guys. Check that out. Oh my gosh. Let me finish up the second one, and I'll see if these fit in those plastic sleeves I like to use. If not, maybe you're just going to wrap it with some tissue. Something to keep everything down, but not really add bulk, remember? So I'll be right back. So I do have a little handmade by VianneyCreates, which for the most part it was, right? I'm just going to put that down on the back here. And unfortunately, my little bags, even though they're champs with every other swap, I don't think it's going to fit in here, because they're like 9 inches wide, and I think this is basically there, and I don't think it's going to want to. Let's see. Nope. It's just like a 1/4 inch too big, so that's fine. Go ahead, I would say, and wrap it in something if you can. If it's, just so that things don't move around, I'm probably going to have to open it up, so please probably don't tape it if you're going to put tissue paper. And I just mean wrap it in tissue, okay? Or another cellophane bag if you have one that's bigger, right? Which I do. They're from Daiso, so I'll probably put mine in one of those. But those are the ones I usually pick up on Amazon. So wrap them if you would like. Again, not super tightly. Don't put anything on top. It just has to be like right around the thing. Again, don't tape it down. That way I can just open it, show it, and then put it back. If you tape it with like washing and all that, it just gets all tore up. And it doesn't look great when you pass it on to the next person, but what are you gonna do? Okay, so those are my 2 swaps. Now, how would I put them in there? Again, I would probably, like I said, wrap them somehow with the tissue or whatever. I wouldn't stack them like this, because this and this, they're just gonna start rubbing each other. You can definitely do them like this, one over the other. I am probably gonna put one upside down, what I'm saying, when I send it back off to you. So one upside down with the clippy down here, and one with the clippy up here, and that way it'll go in here really nicely, and they split the difference. And they are facing out. Unfortunately, I think if they face each other, they're gonna ruin each other, right? This is going to hit the paper up here or down here, and it'll just like gouge into it. So that's what I think about when I'm shipping and packaging your guys' stuff back out. So it is facing out. It is padded. They should be covered again with tissue or something. So I don't think it's going to be a problem as far as them being like this on the ship out. But look at that. They fit in there perfectly. Honestly, this might be an inch thick. Maybe an inch and a quarter. So mind the thickness, guys. Stick to what it is. Don't add stickers. Don't add pearls. Don't add whatever because you think, you know, I want to give them something else. No, I will not swap it. I've been liking to do the live premieres, meaning I go ahead and do the unboxings, you know, the openings, and then I edit everything and I put it together. So if I see that that's what it is when I'm doing the unboxing, I'm just not going to include it in the video and it's going to go back to you without being swapped. So do not include anything extra. Please stick to the rules. It's not hard. Pick your favorite paper pack. Decorate your clipboard. If you want to put paper on the back, that's up to you, you know, whatever. All that kind of adds thickness, so don't decorate the back more than just a piece of paper if you're going to decorate the back. The front, again, pattern paper. It has to be this pocket. However you want to decorate your pocket or this area, that's up to you. Again, mind the thickness. It has to have 3 or more embellishments, which for me was the little, I guess, lace or tassels, the wax seal, and then like a little die cut, okay? So that's it. If I want to add some little pearls, and that's cute, you know, but it's just extra stuff that might just fall off later, but whatever it is that you want to do. Die cuts, you know, glue down, whatever, 3 of them after you've, you know, put your pretty papers down. Again, 3 complete shaker sets, and that means with the risers, you know, what I'm calling risers is just this area. See that space that those made? That's where the shaker mix goes, right? So 3 complete shakers. Whatever size you like. I made mine a little bit larger because I want to gear it towards like a card, but I know some people have little shakers. Whatever it is that you want to include that are cut from your paper that coordinate with your paper pack, right? Your shaker mix with at least 3 different spangles. At least 2 tablespoons, packaged really nicely so it doesn't explode. You guys, it cannot be in a glass vial or anything like that. It needs to be something flat like this. Okay, so again, I always include this. I've had really good luck with these, so they're linked to Amazon. 3 pieces of your paper, 3 and only 3 that are 5x7, cut down for your person to use, you know, on whatever project they want to use it on. And then the 3 sets of 3D die cut pieces, whatever the set completes, like you saw in mine for a bow. It needs the, you know, the tails, the topper parts, and the middle part. For the rosette, I included the base. I included 2 strips because that's how that rosette is supposed to be made, and with the topper piece. If you're going to hand do rosettes, that's fine. You're going to score them really nicely, fold it in half if it's a whole 12-inch piece, whatever it is, whatever, guys. Make sure you have everything complete so that the person can actually make the project when they get it. And then decorate the top with some kind of tassel, a dangle, a bow, whatever. If it's just a bow, it doesn't matter, something. And no more than 2 things. So if you want to decorate here and here, no more than 2 things, okay? Yeah, and then include your postage with your swap. Package them nicely. If it gets hurt or damaged or blown out in the transit, I'm also not going to swap those out, guys. So stick to the rules. Pick your favorite paper pack for the year. No, because since it's a new year, that's kind of what I was thinking of. But it's like, I know we all have like dozens of favorite paper packs. But just go for it. Make it really pretty. And like I said, mine's real clean, pristine, and that's what I would prefer to see. It's easier to go through and it's not hectic and people can see exactly what's going on. Again, shakers and mix are up here. Down in this bottom is the 3D die cuts and the pieces of 5x7 paper, okay? And that's it, guys. So have fun with it. My email will be in the description box and I will see you all at the next one. Bye now.